I've got a LethalGamingGear LA-1 pre-production sample and I'm gonna give you my thoughts about the shape. It's very well designed, especially for claw grip, and I think it's just as good or even better than these other newly released mice. I've been enjoying my time with it in-game, especially in games like CSGO where my flick shots and precision have been on point. Combining this with the LethalGamingGear Saturn or Venus Pro is a god tier combo. And I will keep using it more, especially when I will get a production sample. The idea with this shape is that it has quite aggressive hump towards the back of the mouse, and it's a quite wide hump, so you will have a lot of palm contact when you claw grip the mouse. But it's still quite a lot thinner than the XM1 or the Lamzo Atlantis hump is, so the back of the XM1 or the Lamzo pretty much covers my whole palm, whereas the back of the LA-1 mostly hits the middle of my palm. By the way, these are not the feet that will be on a production sample, these are just random feet that I picked up. The production samples actually come with pre-installed core pads, so the feet are not going to be an issue. The sides on the front of the LA-1 are also more flat, so it's easier and more comfortable for me to relax claw. The extremely slanted sides on the XM1 and the Atlantis just feel a little bit uncomfortable for me if I relax claw this shape. Overall, these two shapes are actually not that similar, and the XM1 and the Atlantis is much larger in hand than the LA-1 is. The LA-1 also has some slight similarity with the hump location of the CA13, but the CA13 feels just way more aggressive with the hump than the LA-1 does. And the in-hand feel of the hump is just way different, and so is the in-hand feel of this curvature on the sides. The sides on the LA-1 feel more flat again. Compared to the Zowie S2, then again, this hump is actually more similar in the S2 than it is on the CA13. But the S2 hump is a little bit more towards the middle of the mouse than it is on the LA-1, which makes it feel a little bit different as well. But overall, the hump in-hand feel of the hump is more similar on the S2 than it is on the CA13. Then we got the X2 Mini, and the thing here is that the LA-1 is much longer, and it also has a more aggressive hump towards the back of the mouse, which in combination with the length make the LA-1 feel much larger than the X2 Mini. For example, when I'm quite naturally relaxed clawing the X2 Mini, my fingers are hitting the front right corner and my fingers are also fairly curved right here. Compare that to the LA-1, which is longer and has more of an aggressive hump, my fingers are way more straight and more extended than on the X2 Mini. The LA-1 also feels thinner from the middle than the X2 Mini, but from the front of the mouse, because it flares out towards the front, they feel similar in width. Lastly, we got the mouse, which is maybe the most similar in my opinion to the LA-1, and this is the Xtrfy M42. Even with the aggressive back hump on the M42, the humps are still different though. The hump on the LA-1 is wider and it feels more aggressive than the hump on the M42. Both mice flare out similarly to the front of the mouse, and the width is also similar. And for example, relaxed clawing the M42 feels quite similar to the LA-1, as I also do have to keep my fingers fairly extended and straight to hit the front right corner here. Oh, and by the way, the LethalGamingGear Saturn Pro is most likely my new main mousepad. It's actually insane how good this mousepad is for any kind of game. Review for this should be out in about a week. Overall, the main thing about the shape is that it's quite thin. It has an aggressive hump and it's surprisingly long. It feels actually surprisingly good for fingertip grip as well, but at least on the pre-production samples, the clicks are quite heavy when you have to click them from the far back. The shape feels very natural for aggressive claw, but not so much for relaxed claw because of the length and the hump. The coating is also insanely grippy on the LA-1, but it's a massive fingerprint magnet, and I think this is going to be changed on the production units. Overall, I'm enjoying this shape a lot and I'm gonna use it more in-game, especially when I get the production units.